I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Shanahan, what he's done out there, man. I think he's an outstanding coach. And then certainly as an offensive coordinator, you know, he's tops. Coach Wilkes, ton of respect, you know, always, every time we face them and his defenses, you know, they're a pain in the rear. So, and nothing has changed here. These guys they're aggressive. It's a bully mentality, you know, and they have an identity, an attitude, sound schemes. They're going to test your boundaries. They're going to find weaknesses and then just try to pepper you on those. So this is a heck of a matchup for us. Outstanding playmakers, both sides of the ball. John Lynch has done a hell of a job. You know, he and Kyle both building that roster. So, you know, this will be an outstanding test for us, but it's one we're ready for. We're ready for. So we're built to handle this, and this is going to be this will be an outstanding game on the road. Our guys are going to be ready to roll. Questions?
Yeah, Coach, you've talked about the faith that his teammates have in him, in Jared Goff. And how much does it add to it, the fact that he's been through this before, we've been to a Super Bowl, and all the stuff that goes with it?
Yeah, that helps, especially at that position. I think it does help at the quarterback position to understand what you're in. You know, the stakes go up, and you know, to be able to have been here before, I think is big. He's played plenty of football. He's been in plenty of big games, different atmospheres. He's played at this place before. So yeah, that only helps. That helps.
We've seen him with this offense. You know, usually you think of stopping the run first with an offense, but this is the most explosive passing game in the NFL in terms of big plays, yards after the catch. So, I mean, where do you focus your attention first?
Stop the run.
Still the run.
You got to stop the run, because if you don't, they'll rush for 250 on you, and then they won't even worry about passing. Everything has to start there, and yes, they are. Look, Shanahan does an unbelievable job of. He's going to work one side and make you overreact, and then he counters off of it, and then he play passes off of it, and works the middle of the field. So, you know, look, you got your hands full in both regards, you know, and Purdy does a hell of a job. You know, they throw a lot of daggers middle of the field, and he does a hell of a job with touch, timing, rhythm. But we have to stop this run game. It just has to start there. You, as much as you can, you have to try to make this team one-dimensional, and that's not easy to do.
We've seen Jared obviously respond to pressure, big games. He's won in San Francisco, but he's never played a playoff game there with the stakes where they are right now. Going home can be a challenge for any player, any coach. You know, all the extra attention, your friends, your family, whatever it is. How do you think will you do anything to help him manage that? Do you think he's good handling that, just not having really been in this exact situation before going home?
He's going to be great. I feel great about Goff. He's the least of my concerns. He's going to be just fine. For him, he's done this before. He understands it. We're back on the road, and it'll be you know, a loud environment. But I mean, we've been in some big games on the road over the last year and a half, and he's performed well. And look, we threw a ton on him last week. Now, I know it was at home, but we put a lot on his plate. You know, as advanced as that defense was, all the different things they do, that required that he take on a heavy load to get us in the right play, find the matchups, you know, read coverage, and he was outstanding with that. And so he's going to be fine. He's going to be ready to go. So I'm not worried about that.
Just as a quick follow-up to that, you as a coach or player, whatever it is, when in your time, I mean, I think they had cell phones in your time when you were playing, but do you turn them off? What do you do?
That old?
I think they had cell phones.
Yeah, we did. I think they'll pop up with the long antenna. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. Keep going.
What do you do to just block out that noise? Is it hard? People asking for tickets and whatever?
Man, it's hard. Now, all that being said, that's kind of the world we live in now. You know, that's most of these guys have grown up, and that's what they know. This is all they know. And so, you keep that in mind. But it is a strain when you start. I think in some regards, this may actually be easier on our guys because, all these 2 home games, which has been phenomenal. You got I know a lot of our players had family and friends that came in, and there's a lot of tension being pulled, when they go home at the evenings and the games getting ready. And I thought we handled that really well. Whereas now we go on, there'll be some guys that are from Cali. But all in all, I think it can actually be a little bit less stressful on our guys from the outside. But I think it's no different than anything else we talk about every week. Just, you got to put all that behind you. You can't let that be the main thing. Your focus has got to be on this game plan, this opponent. Because the most important thing is that your teammate knows that you're going to handle your business, and it's not about the outside things. It's not about here we are. This is the biggest issue right now. Most time I come in here and there's 20 of you, and now there's a whole packed room, people I don't even recognize, and that's what our players are dealing with. It's all the extra attention outside of the norm. That's the issue. It's not the opponent. It has its own issues that we'll deal with, but it's all the outside attention and where they're getting pulled from every area. You got friends, you got family reaching out. Unbelievable, you guys are here again. What are you going to blah, blah, blah. And, you're such a phenomenal player. You're a phenomenal coach. You're a phenomenal GM. And pretty soon, if you forget that it's us and it's about the team, I think that's always the challenge this time of year when you get in these type of games and settings.
You said this was one that you're, built for when you came out. You're ready for this. You're built for, and you've said that before. What is it that you guys have done on the field or to handle some of those things that you're confident these guys are ready for? Not just the game, but the stage that they're on.
Yeah, I think look, everything starts with ability, right? You have to have ability in this league. We have ability, but deeper than that, you have to be able to handle the ebbs and flows of a game in a season and playoffs, and that's what has been built for 3 years now. And so that's what gives me faith. Look, there's going to be things that are going to happen in this game that it's going to look like it's out of control, and it's not going to go well for us. And as long as we just play the next play, it'll turn. And that's what we've done all year. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind. But you've got to be made a certain way, and the team has to be made a certain way to be able to handle that. Otherwise, you just crumble. So that's what gives me faith. We have a team that's built that way.
You see the backdrop, the NFC Championship, obviously, it's all new here, but from a personal perspective, now you experienced the lowest of the lows within this franchise as a player. Not many coaches get a chance to do that with their former teams, man. I guess for you, what did you learn, man, going back? If we can go back to 2008, when you was actually a player on an 0-16 team, did that give you a greater appreciation for what you were able to do now? Like, what did you learn from that or take for that? Like, how tough it is to get wins and get to this position now?
Yeah, I really don't want to go into depth about all that. Certainly it wasn't, now look, I got hurt early. I wasn't around for the whole year, but, it's one of those where you can't get out of your own way. You just continue to find ways to lose, unfortunately. It always comes down to just the little things and everybody doing the little things. And it comes down to the right people everywhere across the board. And so, look, you're always going to learn lessons over time, no matter where you've been, the good and the bad. And some of the best lessons you learn are when things don't go right. And so I've been fortunate to see it all. I've seen it all. Been at the lowest and I've been at the highest. And you learn along the way. And that helps, right? It helps. So I'm glad we're not there anymore.
Dan, what do you like most about what your defense is doing right now, and how would you describe the moxie within that locker room with that group?
Yeah, we're disruptive. We're disruptive. We're aggressive, and we hit. And that to me has got to be what we're about. Those are the principles. Look, we may get hit on a couple of things, and I know for me, I'm willing to give up something to get something. And sometimes you got to, things may happen, but that's okay because it'll pay dividends by the time you hit the fourth quarter. And I think that's what we're doing. I think it is a salty group. They play hard. They're pretty sound, and we're competitive. You know, I think AG's done a hell of a job of mixing things up. You know, we've got enough coverage versus pressure there. We're starting to figure out, you know, some of our better pressure players, guys that can do that on the perimeter. And I think you see our confidence going up. It's really gone up over the last 6 weeks. You know, we started hot, and then we just kind of hit a rough patch, and then we came through it, and we're on an uptick right now. You know, we got 2 takeaways the other day, which is huge, and that's got to continue for us. But I go back to the way we're playing there, the way we play on offense and special teams. It's the right recipe.
Dan, was there a game, a moment when you realized this is possible? We could go to the NFC Championship game.
And I don't necessarily think like that. To me, it's 1 week at a time. You know, I kind of mentioned this before. It's about finding a way to get the most wins you can, get yourself in position to where when you get in the playoffs, you have, you know, you the best possible advantage to advance. And then you get to that one, and it's all about that one. And then you get to the next one, then you get to the next one. I'm kind of that way in general. So, I mean, if you're asking me what I thought was possible, I would have told you in training camp that I knew we would be a good team. Now, who knows what that's going to be? It's about getting in, and we got in, and now we're just 1 week at a time.
Dan, of all the many things St. Brown does well, what do you appreciate the most?
His consistency. The things that he does every day in practice and every game show up all the time. That to me, and that's what a pro is, you know, and it's why he's a pro. I mean, you can write down everything that he's going to do, and he'll do it, man. I can bank on everything, his whole routine that he goes through on every day of the week to prepare, and then what it's going to look like in pregame, what it's going to look like in the game, what it's going to look like postgame, what he's going to do on his day off. It's the same thing, and there's nothing easy about what he does, but for him, it's routine, and it's why he's a great player. It's consistency. You know exactly what you're going to get every time. So it's easy when you have a guy like him on your team. It's easy to game plan with him what you can do because you know what you're going to get.
Dan, Jahmyr Gibbs' ability was obvious coming out of the draft, but how has he improved in like the nuances of the position, being a more complete back to help the overall running game?
He's improved in everything. I mean, I think you can see that. His protection is improved. And that's not something that you say, well, we got him in here to protect. No, but he's got to be able to do it. And he's grown leaps and bounds in that regard. I think you see he's getting better in the pass game out of the backfield. You know, that was somewhere we felt like there was a ton of room to grow. And it's getting better and better and better. And he's still got so much room to go there. But his running ability, his vision, he's just, to me, he really is a complete back that's continued to develop. But really since I felt like we played the Ravens early in the year, and that's when you felt like, all right, here come the lights coming on. And he's just every week gotten better and better and better. So he's playing at a high level right now.
Will you get Ertz in here today, Dan?
What's that?
Will you get Ertz in here today?
Yeah, he's here.
What can he bring to the offense here as a stopgap?
Well, right now, he just got here. I know he's in shape. I talked to him the other day. He understands we're just going to gauge this and see where we're at, you know. So he'll be out here. But he's played at a high level. There's things that he does well, and it's just a matter of, is this the week to use him?